This is the best moments of the BBQ Central Show in 10 minutes or less. Ever wish you could re-listen to your favorite interview or segment? Do you enjoy hearing older shows for the first time in years? Then the best moments of the BBQ Central Show in 10 minutes or less is just what you need. Thanks for listening and enjoy the show.
Yes, thanks so much for listening. I'm John Solberg. I'm your host for the best moments of the BBQ Central Show in 10 minutes or less. Happy to tell you this show is being brought to you by The Butcher Shop, purveyors of highly sought after 100% Australian non-crossbred Wylara 9+ briskets that are always, and I mean always, handpicked just for you. The Butcher Shop has been retailing the finest meats for more than 15 years. Every week they're shipping out competition quality meats to many of the biggest teams in the competition scene across the nation. Simply put, teams who use the Butcher Shop win, and they win often. Even if you're not a competitor, you still deserve the finer cuts in life. I've got great news. The Butcher Shop is shipping some of the finest prime, dry-aged Australian Wagyu and Japanese Wagyu steaks to people just like you and me who aspire to be the kings and queens of the backyard. The Butcher Shop always has Berkshire, Compart Duroc, Allegiance Duroc, and Prairie Fresh all-natural pork in stock. They're going to hand-pick it out for you each and every time. This sounds great, John. That's what you might be saying, but I'd like to try something exotic. Well, rest easy knowing the Butcher Shop can get you some odd stuff. Maybe elk, maybe camel, maybe snake. I don't know. You're going to have to give them a call and find out, and I'll tell you how to do that in just a moment. Let's review the best competition briskets. Check. The best pork selection, check. Giving you better overall options to cook at home, check. So give the Butcher Shop a call today, 850-458-8782. That's 850-458-8782. You mentioned the BBQ Central Show, and you're getting 10% off your order each and every time you call. You can also go check them out on Facebook, facebook.com/The Butcher Shop. Don't forget, shop is spelled S-H-O-P-P-E. The Butcher Shop is home of the 100% Australian non-crossbred Wylara 9+ briskets. And today we're jumping back to 2013. Greg's going to catch up with one of my favorite companies, folks, from Code 3 Spices, Chris Bonemeyer.
Don't forget that May is not only National Barbecue Month, but it is National Masturbation Month as well. Thank God. Thank God we have National Masturbation Month. What would we do without it? All right, my first guest in the second hour and myself seem to be a kindred spirit of sorts. We have a hearty respect and appreciation for the people that are doing emergency services, military, law enforcement, firefighters. He also happens to be a competitive barbecue cook and a rub purveyor. Let's go ahead and welcome in Chris Bonemeyer here to the show. First timer. Chris, how are you, buddy?
I'm good. How are you, Greg?
Doing absolutely fabulous, Chris. I appreciate it. Chris, did you know that May is National Barbecue Month?
I did, actually.
Did you know that May is also National Masturbation Month?
I did not, but according to your show, I did not know that.
Hey, well, I'm here to disseminate all of the proper information in a timely fashion. All right, Chris, before we get into exactly what we're doing here with Code 3 Spices, and the website, by the way, if you want to check it out, Code, the numeral 3 Spices, code3spices.com. Maybe a little background about yourself and how you got into the competition scene.
Well, we started out a couple of years back. Both my partner, Mike, Mike's a local police officer here in the area, and myself started competing. It's been a lot of non-sanctioned backyard events, and we started doing really well in them. And with our spices that we had, we decided to go ahead and, through those events, to go ahead and start manufacturing them. The best idea behind it was that Mike had come up and said that he wanted to do something to give back to first responders in the military. So we bottled it, and that became our new way to get back to those great folks.
Chris, are you guys a team that is looking to chase down Team of the Year honors, or are you just out there to do a handful of events and do it a little bit more for fun and publicity?
We started out as a fun pastime, as a hobby. We started this year. Now that we've done the sanctioned, the non-sanctioned in the backyards, we actually joined the St. Louis Barbecue Society, and we're starting with some of the bigger events, and then we'll eventually move on to the KCBS here in the future.
Oh, so you haven't even actually competed in any KCBS events?
We haven't done any KCBS. We've done non-sanctioned and then the SLBS, but we have not done any KCBS.
So when you're doing like St. Louis Barbecue Society, how do you think that differs from what the KCBS is doing?
I think the events are not as big, but I do think it still follows the same rules and still follows the same ethics behind it as far as the cooks go. So I still think it's the experience that we get from doing those is gonna help us when we do decide to go to KCBS.
Chris Bonemeyer joining me here on the show. Code the numeral 3spices.com is the website. When you guys made the team, were you already making rub at that point and just parlay that into a business right away, or when did that portion of the team take place, getting into the rub business?
We've had the team for a few years now. It's me and Mike and my buddy Jeff. We've been competing for a few years, and we've been using the same rub. I mean, they're all my recipes that were created, and we've been using them. And once the idea came up, Mike's idea was to give back to first responders in the military, and my idea was to do it through barbecue. And the best way we came about it was to have these spices created and use our recipes to have them distributed.
So the rubs that you are using now, or the ones that you're selling now, are the ones that you have been using in competitions all along. How does one go about building, a rub recipe? How many versions of, a backdraft rub or a grunt rub did you go through before you said, that's one that I'm going to stick with and start using in competitions?
The majority of it started with the 5-0 rub. That was our initial base rub, and we've gone through many versions of that. I think early last year was really when we had decided that's, without making any changes, that was what we were using going forward. And then from there, I made modifications to our base to either make it a rescue rub or a backdraft rub as far as heat and variety goes. And since then, we've added the grunt, which is a steak rub, and also the Sea Dog, which is a Cajun rub.
Perfect. So is there a total of 4 rubs then?
There's a total of 5.
Oh, 5. All right. So we have the backdraft rub, we have 5-0, we have grunt, we have Sea Dogs, and I'm missing one.
The rescue rub.
That's right, rescue rub. Perfect. Now, are these now being produced like through a co-packer or a commercial packer at this point?
Yeah, we have a manufacturer here in St. Louis that has taken our recipes. They are now mixing it, bottling it, labeling it, and we are picking it up for distribution.
What kind of a process? I'm always interested to hear, from somebody that has painstakingly gone through the recipe process and quarter teaspoon of this, half cup of this, or whatever, to get those recipes honed in the kitchen at your house and being able to really do quality control. What kind of a process was it for you to find a company to make and bottle them for you? And were you nervous that they might start suggesting ways to change it or, make it taste better for less money or whatever?
Find out what Chris had to say over at thebbqcentralshow.com. Link in today's show notes. It's taking you to the complete episode. I love Code 3. I love Code 3 Company. I love what they've got going on. I love the people about it. They make an amazing sauce, too, by the way. A sweet Kansas City style Patriot sauce. It's delicious. Go check them out as well. Thanks so much for listening. And until next time on the best moments of the Barbecue Central Show in 10 minutes or less, I am your host, John Solberg. I look forward to talking to you again soon.